Math! Hey everybody, this is Mr. Regner and this is the Aftermath. Today on the Aftermath we are focused on focus for week 24, day number 2. So without further ado, let's get to it. Here we are in number 1. It says which point on the number line is located at 3/4. So if you look at this, I want you to pay close attention to the number line they give you. We see the point 0 here, we have the point 1, and we have the point -1. All of our points in between are going to be fractions or decimals. In this case, because we're looking for 3/4, we're going to think of them as fractions. So I really have 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts, and 4 parts. The space right in the middle is like cutting that in half. That's going to be our half mark. All right, and then if we have half of a half, we know that's going to be 1/4. And then this spot here between 1/2 and 1, that's going to be 3/4, and hopefully that's showing up well enough with my marker. Those are all positive numbers because they are above 1 or above 0, right? So we go from 0 to 1. On the other side, we're going from 0 to -1, so these are going to be negative numbers. Again though, think of it just like we did over here. The space right here in between, that's halfway between 0 and -1. That's going to be -1/2. And then right here between 0 and -1/2, that's going to be -1/4. And then right here, our last spot, almost close to -1, that's going to be our -3/4. So if we're looking for 3/4 on our number line, hopefully this stands out to us. It's letter D. Pretty easy to find there. All right, that's number 1. Again, you gotta just pay attention to your number line. Think about how those numbers are lined up. And if we do that, it becomes a little bit easy for us to find those as soon as we label them. Let's move on now to number 2, where we're going to be doing a little bit of graphing. So on number 2, it says city planners are creating a neighborhood map on a coordinate grid. The table shows the locations of the neighborhood library and school on a coordinate grid. On the grid, the distance between each grid line represents 1 mile. What is the distance between the library and the school on the grid? You may use the coordinate grid to help you find the answer by plotting the 2 points. Well, I don't mind if I do. That sounds like a great idea. So I'm going to look here. I see the library is at -2.5. The school is at -2.3. And I always want to think about an elevator. Why an elevator, you may ask? Well, when I get on an elevator, I first walk into the elevator, then I can go up or down. And the same is true here. We're going to use our x-axes to go across. So we're going to go over either to the right or left, depending on if it's positive or negative. Think of that like a number line. And then we can go up or down, depending on if it's positive or negative. So this one says -2.5. That means I'm going to go over -2, and right here is -2. And then I'm going to go up 5. That means I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there it is. If I draw a line here with my fingers, right here where -2 and 5 meet is the location of my library. I'm going to mark that with an L. The school is at -2, -3. So let's see, there's my -2. Now I'm going to go to -3, which is right here, and draw a line here with my fingers. And right here, this dot represents the location of my school. Now there's 2 ways that I can find out the distance between them. I know they're both at -2, so I could actually subtract here or figure out the difference of 5 and -3. Okay, I could do that by taking 5 minus a -3. That turns into 5 plus 3. All right, we're going to learn more about that as we study integers. But another way we could do this is actually by just counting my steps. So I'm hopeful that my highlighter shows up in the video, but I'm going to start at my library and just count my steps. So from the library, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 spaces. 8 spaces between the library and the school. If there's 8 spaces, I have to remember that each space represents 1 mile. Oops, and you didn't see that in the video, but I just circled 1 mile in the problem. That means there's 8 miles. If you like the idea of subtracting, I could take 5 minus a -3, that's 5 plus 3, which is also 8 miles. So overall, this one looks intimidating with the grid and all, and it seems tough. If we just plot those points, it's pretty easy because we're just counting the number of spaces. All right, so there we go with number 2. Now it's time to roll on to number 3, where we get to use some ratios and figure out the best price if we're buying the strawberries in bulk. So let's take a look at it. Here we are. It says a pint of strawberries costs $4.25. For a sale, the store offers a third pint free if you buy 2 pints at the regular price. Find the unit price of a pint of strawberries when you buy 3 on sale. All right, so this is actually a question we might see on our Unit 6 test, but I can do this by calculating out the price, $4.25 for 1 pint of strawberries. If I buy 2 pints, and this is pretty easy math here, I'm just going to be doubling that cost. So $4.25 times 2. If you're not sure what that is, you can always do this off to the side, but I just happen to know that $4.25 times 2 is $8.50. So I'm going to pay $8.50 for 2 pints. Now, if I get that third pint of strawberries for free, I'm still paying $8.50 for 3 pints. That's kind of the way that works when you get stuff for free. So if I'm getting $8.50, 3 pints, I want to figure out how much 1 pint costs. I don't know why I wrote 1 pints. That's poor grammar. Sorry, me. So I want to figure out how much 1 pint costs with that sales price. So I'm going to divide by 3 because that's what I'm doing. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I take $8.50 divided by 3. If you don't know what that is, don't be afraid to do some math. Look at me doing math over here. 3 goes into 8 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract, I get 2. I bring down my 5. 3 goes into 25. I don't know, maybe 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. I subtract, I get 1. I bring down my 0. 3 goes into 10. I'll say 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. I can get 1 there. And then I could bring down another 0 and keep it going. I'm going to have 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. But since I'm talking about money here, I'm always going to round to the nearest cent. When I talk about this, this is $2.83. It's not going to be $2.833. So that 3 just keeps the 3 where it is. That's $2.83 for 1 pint if I buy it on sale. So there you go. Again, notice how the ratios help us to figure out the price of 1 pint when they're on sale. Now let's take a look at number 3. Why did I just say number 3? I meant number 4, of course. Let's take a look at it now. Number 4, it says you have half as many guitar picks as your cousin. Let G be the number of guitar picks that your cousin has. Which expression represents the number of guitar picks you have? All right, so it says that you have half as many guitar picks as your cousin. Your cousin has G. I suggested this, I think, maybe yesterday. We could just come up with a number for your cousin's guitar picks, right? So maybe your cousin has, let's say, 4 guitar picks. These are guitar picks, by the way, a poorly drawn example. But that would mean that your cousin has 4 picks. If you have half as many guitar picks, you would be taking 1/2 times 4 to figure out that you have 2 guitar picks. So if we take out this number 4 now and replace it with G, I have 1/2 times G. And that's hard to see in the video when you can't see it, but I have 1/2 times G. So I'm going to be multiplying 1/2 times G. Now this could get a little bit tricky, so I want you to think carefully about all of our scenarios. First, we have letter A, 2 times G. That means we're doubling the amount that our cousin has. Is that what we're doing? No, it's not. So A can't be right. Letter B says G plus 2. Well, that's not true at all. We're not going to be taking what he has or she and adding 2. This one says G divided by 1/2. If I keep change flip, look at what that became. It's G times 2. That's not what we're doing either, so it can't be letter C. Letter D says G divided by 2. And you might think, well, that can't be it because I said 1/2 times G. But think of it this way. If I have 1/2 times G, that's the same as saying 1/2 times G over 1, which is really G over 2. G over 2. So actually, letter D is correct because that's really what this is saying. And then finally, letter E says G times 1/2. That was our original thought, and that's an answer as well. So there we go. That is our focus for day number 2, week 24. Hopefully this will help you out as you're reviewing and preparing for this week's Focus quiz. I'm Mr. Regner. This has been The Aftermath.
Math. Aftermath, it's the aftermath. Aftermath, it's the aftermath. Math class is fun, but when it's done, stay in the zone. On your own, it's math review, made just for you. Take a video wherever you go. Aftermath, it's the aftermath. Aftermath, it's the aftermath. Oh yeah.